Hello, I'm in a chair. All right, so we found out yesterday that Kamala Harris's VP pick is Tim Walz. And I got to admit, right away when I heard that, I was like, you've got to be kidding me. Um, for starters, it looks like it was absolutely going to be Josh Shapiro. The announcement was being made in Philadelphia, so I'm like, well, that that pretty much spells out who that's going to be. It's going to be made in the state of Pennsylvania, so they're going to obviously announce the governor of that state being the presidential, the vice presidential candidate under Kamala Harris. And when I first heard it, I was a little bit like, I'm not feeling it. I feel it's just a safe pick. It's a pick that doesn't necessarily lock up anything vital because, Josh Shapiro would have locked up Pennsylvania most certainly. Um, and when I look at things, I'm like, what is Trump's path to victory if he doesn't get Pennsylvania? And it is very, very difficult. It's possible, but it's very difficult. Tim Walz being Minnesota, that's pretty much going to Harris anyway. But hearing more from this guy and hearing his rally speech with Kamala Harris in Philadelphia last night, I'm like, okay, I can get on board with this. I'm gonna let this play out. I'm not gonna sit here and I'm not gonna trash it as like the worst pick in vice presidential history, like I am with J.D. Vance. But here's the thing: they better win Pennsylvania. If something like or like Arizona, if they lose Arizona, they better win Pennsylvania. If they lose Pennsylvania, they better win Arizona, the Democratic ticket, because that's the thing. If they would have took Senator Kelly from Arizona or Governor Shapiro from Pennsylvania, you're more probable to lock up either one of those states. But the guy is a solid candidate. He's unless there's something unearthed from him, there's nothing that you can say, look at his past, look what he used to do for a living. Like, there's nothing like that. You can't say he was groomed by a billionaire like J.D. Vance was. He's a guy that had 24 years of military service, and he's like kind of like a partial example of what the American dream can get you. He enlisted at the age of 17, spent 24 years in the military. I think he was like a master sergeant, I want to say, or a major sergeant. It was his final rank that he finished his military tenure with. He used the GI Bill to go to college, became a teacher, just used his uproaring popularity to say, hey, I'll take a run at Congress. And, hey, he got in. He wasn't a career politician. He wasn't from the Ivy League mold or anything like that. And the story presents well. I don't see how many holes you can poke in how he got to where he got in this world. Whereas other candidates you can. You could say, oh, they had a silver spoon stuck in their mouth. This candidate they were always corrupt from day one. They wanted to be this and that. And, this just looks like a guy who wanted to do good and did good things, okay? So I don't got much of anything critical. But in such a close election, though, I really would have liked to have seen a Senator Kelly or Governor Shapiro picked as the candidate. Me personally, hey, this may age poorly, and they they wipe the electoral map clean blue, and when things are all said and done. But this election is far from a shoo-in, and that's what I want to tell the people, because I feel there is becoming an air in the Democratic Party, in the liberal and the left-leaning minds, that just because momentum has shifted and started turning towards the blue side doesn't mean it's going to stay there. There's still 90 days left before the election. Any number of things could happen. There could be a debate between Vance and Walz, where Walz gets just completely plastered. But I doubt it, because, man, this guy is number one, he's sharp as attack, and two, he's witty. His comment about, Walz, about J.D. Vance, he might not be able to get off his couch to debate me Like, and he goes like, you know what I'm saying? Like, yes, we do know what you're saying. You're poking fun of the whole he has sex with couch story. Yes, and I admit that's the point where he won me over. I'm like, okay, I like this guy. I like this guy. But here's the thing, America. Going back to my comment of there's 90 days left before the election. Now, while America didn't necessarily know who J.D. Vance was, they've known about him for longer. They've been hearing about him for a lot longer. There's a lot of voters that have heard what J.D. Vance's stance on everything is. You got 90 days to tell people who Tim Walz is. Because I can guarantee you, other than him being governor of Minnesota, I couldn't tell you much of anything about him before yesterday. Like next to nothing. And I honestly hope that his Midwest vibe helps secure states like Wisconsin that are kind of iffy for the Democratic ticket right now. Shit. It's 6 o'clock, guys. 6:30, I mean. Anyway, I hope his vibe grabs America a little better. And here's the thing. Speaking about vibes, if there was 2 bits of advice I would offer both sides of the ticket is to the Republican Party, I would say, number 1, have J.D. Vance say as little as possible. And number 2, have Tim Walz say as much as possible. Because J.D. Vance, he comes off so effing corny and unrelatable. Tim Walz comes off like that. Man, that's Jimmy's grandpa. Oh my God, he is so funny. He's a nice guy to be around and stuff like that. He just comes off as a much more likable person, just a likable human being. J.D. Vance I don't want to hang out with him. He's corny. He sticks his dick in couches. But anyway, yeah, I mean, in the end of things, it's not gonna hurt Kamala's chances that much, and I don't think it's gonna stifle momentum. What is gonna be interesting to see is seeing the Midwestern polling areas, like a Michigan, like a Wisconsin. Because if polls start showing upticking there, I'm going to be like, okay, that was definitely the right candidate. His appeal is spreading across more than just the Minneapolis region. So from that end of things, if you're securing the Midwest states, who knows if it even spreads into Ohio, but I think Ohio is going to go for Trump regardless. But anyway, obviously J.D. Vance is there as well, but I don't think J.D. Vance is going to get much of a turn in vote. But anyway, I honestly would have liked someone like Buttigieg. I think he is like I have an utmost respect for someone that I see as genuinely intelligent, someone that's refined their intelligence with learned knowledge in school, but at the end of things, I would not pick even though I personally want Buttigieg to be the vice presidential candidate, I wouldn't personally pick him. Because you already have one facet that you're not going to overturn to get to vote for you, and that is the demographic of people that aren't going to vote for a woman. And then with Buttigieg, you're going to get the people that aren't going to vote for a homosexual. Putting those 2 factors in the same campaign, I completely understand. I just really feel the safest, surest path to victory right now would have been with Shapiro. Like I said, what is the Republicans' path to victory if they don't get Pennsylvania? It's very tough. If you look at the map and you look at the states that are already decided, it is very tough, damn near impossible, if Trump doesn't win Pennsylvania. So, anyways, that's my thought on Tim Walz, and I guess just to make a note on just the randomness that's going on with the election right now. Already, since the polls are showing upticks towards Kamala's side, the whole narrative is being planted of the polling is rigged. The mass media, the left-wing media is corroborating against Trump. They're poisoning the well, all these other things, because the only way Trump can lose is if it's rigged. And honestly, if that's all you're going to spout and saying, like, oh, if Kamala wins, it's only because the system wanted her and they rigged it to be that way and blah, blah, blah. Why wasn't the polling rigged before Kamala was named? Like, it was the same polling process that was going on but during the assassination, after the assassination attempt, that showed things spiking for Donald Trump. It's not rigged then, but now all of a sudden, the same process that's in place, oh, all of a sudden it's rigged because it's not going our way. Shut up. And to all the people out there, if you just want to spout off in the comments with stupid right-wing shit, and to even left-wing shit as well, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it, because some of my previous videos have been filled with people saying, like, ain't no one going to vote for some black bitch. She'll be lucky to win 5 states. Shut your ass up. Don't even bother speaking. Anyway, it's interesting because I honestly feel the tide is turning towards Kamala Harris, and when I hear Tim Walz speak, I'm like, man, why wasn't someone like him put out there as the actual presidential candidate? But maybe he will be in 4 years or 8 years from now. We'll see. If Kamala wins, again, Democratic Party, don't rest on your laurels right now. Just because things are looking shiny and pretty, man, things can change real quick. Need I remind you, 8 years ago, Hillary Clinton was leading everywhere. I think she was up by like 6 points in Pennsylvania or some ridiculous thing. Might have been less than that. And by the way, Donald Trump won Pennsylvania 8 years ago. Might I remind you? So just relax. Relax, Democratic Party. There's a lot of work to do. There's a lot of time left. There's enough time left, I should say, for things to change. Not necessarily a lot of time. Anyway, that's my 2 thoughts on Tim Walz. As someone who lived in the Midwest, I understand the whole Midwest vibe. Because there's regions that are known for specific things, like the Northwest region, like the 95 corridor from Boston, New York, Philadelphia, Baltimore. They're notably known for being assholes. I can speak for that. Like, the commonality of attitude there is that they're assholes. Southwest is more just like, they're laid back, they're chill, maybe a slight bit seen as lazy. I used to live in New Mexico. There's a whole thing called mañana, an attitude of mañana. I'll get to that mañana. Anyway, but the Midwest, I used to live in Wisconsin. It's the vibe of niceness. Same with the South. There's a vibe of niceness. So hopefully that helps sell the Harris ticket to America. Because again, although I am not that big a fan of Harris, I am just, again, my one issue is the Ukraine war right now. And I can't back someone who supports Putin and J.D. Vance, who wants America to have absolutely nothing to do with the Ukraine war right now in any way, shape, or form. But hey, who knows? Let's see what happens. 90 days to go. Yes, I'm probably going to turn into some political channel now. I'm sorry if that bugs you guys that don't want to hear about politics. You want to hear me talk more about the Eagles. I promise you I will at least do a shorts video. Every time there's an Eagles game, I will do at least a minute recap of an Eagles game, sometimes more. Like if they decimate the Cowboys, I mean, you're going to see me, J.D. Vance, in my couch. Anyway, have a good day, everyone. And do you like the chair in the corner of the workout room? Like, is that, how's that vibe? Is that a Midwest vibe, or is that more of a Southwest vibe? Anyways, or Northeast vibe. That is all.